Wow, it's definitely a snazzy shirt, Frank. It's great to see you as well, albeit over the magic of the internet. But Fabio Wardley and Justice Hooney lock horns this weekend. What can fight fans expect from Queensberry's offering this weekend?
I think it's a really, really good competitive fight. They're both undefeated. You've got a situation where it's for a WBA interim title. On the 19th of July, we're at Wembley. We've got Usyk in with Dubois, chance for Daniel to win the four belts. But whoever wins it, that will then determine what happens in the future for all these other fighters. So for Fabio in particular on Saturday, it's a fight he can't afford to lose because it put him in the position to become one of the mandatories.
Dillian White's scheduled to be out, but no opponent locked in yet, at least officially. Can you tell us who's going to be in the opposite corner to Dillian?
We are at this moment. We are still working on it.
Okay, fair enough. One man who won't be featuring on that card, and of course, cards going forward, is Delicious Ori, who's decided to walk away from the sport after one bout in the professional ranks. You must have talked to Delicious and his decision to walk away from the sport. What do you think about it?
I think I think he's a very brave man to make that decision. You know, he had his debut, and he obviously felt it wasn't for him. And I respect his judgment. And if your heart's not in it and you don't feel it's right, then you don't want to be in the most dangerous sport in the world.
Mhm.
And I just wish him well from the future. He's a lovely guy, and we was delighted when we signed him. But you know, I do respect his decision.
When we spoke at the start of the year, we were talking about how you have so many heavyweights and Queensberry's become the land of the heavyweights, and a lot of juggling, I guess, has to happen to make sure all heavyweights are happy with their position. You got Fabio, who's battling for the WBA. You got Usyk in with Dubois. Dubois is looking for that undisputed title shot. Joe Parker's waiting for an opportunity. Zhang, of course, is waiting for a comeback as well too. How are you juggling all these fighters' wants and needs to get to the top of the ladder?
Chisora, we've got Joshua Okoli,
Mhm.
um, Agabayels, lots of how we get on with it. We're getting on with it. We're making fights for them. That's what we're doing. We're making the fights. We've got David Adelaide. We won the purse bids for that fight for the rematch with him. Um, we just make them happen, and it's important. As I say, that fight on the 19th is the catalyst for a lot of things that will happen, and hopefully. The heavyweight division has been lively and fights happen, but it mean very quickly a lot of fights will be happening.
When it comes to that undisputed showdown between Usyk and Dubois for the second time, a lot of conversation about Alexander Usyk's future, but should he lose to Dubois, do you expect that he'd continue in the sport?
Yeah, it depends how you lose, doesn't it?
Hmm.
If you lose, it's how you lose. You know, these guys. He's never been beaten as a professional fighter. He's a two-weight world champion, Olympic gold medalist. I mean, he may not, if he gets beat, he may feel he doesn't want to fight on. Who knows? Depends how you get beat. He may want a rematch.
I'm sure you've seen this news of Anthony Joshua. He's in for a two-fight deal, I believe it is, with the Saudi. That's what's being reported. What's the possibility that he might be in with a Queensberry fight in the opposite corner? Of course, the talk has been Tyson Fury, but he's retired for now. What about other options that you present to AJ?
I think he could pick any one of probably about 13 or 14.
Hmm.
There's no problem for him making a big fight for him with a Queensberry fight, so that's for sure.
Would there be one at the top of your list?
I think Fabio comes through. Derek Chisora. I mean, there's a lot of fights there to be made. Moses,
Would you put a Moses in with AJ now?
yeah.
I think that it would have to be a situation where I think because they're both at the same gym, both Fabio and Moses are with.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You know, Ben traced both of them.
Hmm.
That's one of them that probably will never happen. But if in an ideal world, I'd love to do that.
Zhang was one that was talked about for many years. Would that be someone you'd put forward too?
Any of the guys, they're all good. They're good fights. All of them are good fights. And, you know, and AJ's fighting for if he carries on and fights on, he's fighting for his career. He can't afford another loss. He is fighting to stay or to get back on that top table.
Now you mentioned that shirt being part of the celebrations for the win you had over Matchroom. over was it a year ago to the day, right? Is there the second iteration happening soon, Frank?
I hope so. We've been talking about it a while now. Let's see what happens. There's been some talk, and we'll see. Fingers crossed that we can get it over the line.
A flowery shirt like that surely has had some, well, he might have had some heavyweight influence on you because I'd see normally Tyson Fury wearing something like that. I wonder if you had any conversations recently with him about his potential return.
This is one of his hand-me-downs.
I thought it'd be a bit bigger.
Well, I've had it altered. I've got a couple of bulldog clips on the back of it, holding it all in. Yeah, I spoke to him yesterday, but we didn't talk about boxing.
When you say you speak to him, but you don't talk about boxing, what do you talk about?
Things in general, how the family is, what you're up to, how's life, and like when you're talking to one of your pals.
Mm-hmm. Okay, moving forward, I wonder if you've seen Eubank Sr. suggesting that, look, if my son is to return to the ring, then I'm going to return, kind of putting a barrier to him, wanting him to walk away from the sport. What do you think about the potential of Eubank Sr. returning to the ring in the year of comebacks where Manny Pacquiao is also coming back in a month or so?
I don't think he will get licensed. So I wouldn't even worry about that.
I mean, Ben was, as in Nigel Benn was going to be in a fight a few years back as well too. So I mean, might not be licensed by the British Boxing Board of Control, but a comeback in some form could happen.
I don't think anybody's going to be looking to be promoting Chris Eubank Sr. If they do, they should be ashamed of themselves.
In the spirit of your moving forward with Eubank Jr., have you two had any conversations since you settled your
No,
nothing?
nothing at all. That.
Fair enough, Frank. I wonder if you've heard there's been some whispers about a show happening August 16th with the Saudis. That's usually a quiet time in boxing. Any involvement in that show? Have you heard anything, whispers on the ground about that big show?
There's been lots of talk about a few dates over the summer, but nothing's been made definite yet. Nothing's been made definite, but lots of been a few dates been talked about.
I want to get your take on reports online are suggesting that this weekend's Boxer show, which is in conflict with your show, is to be their final on their current Sky deal. As a rival promoter, as a competitor, and someone who is also concerned about the health of the sport, what would it mean to lose a rival, and what would it mean to UK boxing?
Look, I hope Sky continue in boxing. It's good for sport. We need as much exposure as we can get for our sport, and I hope they don't walk away from it. As regarding, boxer being a rival, I think you flatter them.
I mean, well, fair enough. And I know you've maintained, of course, you don't look at other boxing promotions as rivals. You're in your own lane doing your own thing. But focusing on the point of the health of boxing and Sky Sports being in there, without a lead promoter, without an offering, a consistent offering, do you expect Sky to continue?
Well, over the years, they've given deals to various promoters like ITV. ITV done Hennessy for a few years, Hennessy Promotions. Sky did, I think Naz had some shows on there. Frank Maloney, various, as he was then, or she was then. He did shows, all of that. But just because you're on TV doesn't mean that you've got a TV deal that you're going to make it work. I've seen lots of people have TV deals and fall over. I just hope that Sky do stay in it because I think they're very important to boxing.
Do you think they'll end up on DAZN, which seems to be the home of boxing? Do you think Boxer will have a place there?
With Boxer, I think you've got to ask them that. I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know who they got on their roster at the moment. Who they got?
Adam Azim is one of the leading lights. Caroline Dubois, another one. Callum Simpson, who's out this weekend.
Right. Yeah, we see. I don't know. See.
I'd
like to see him in and Zim in with Pierce O'Leary's fight on Saturday.
Speaking of that division, I just got a couple more for you. Josh Taylor, of course, who was out recently on your show in a losing effort against Echo Westman. Echo got to that brilliant will and a former undisputed champion on his ledger. What of Josh Taylor's future? Have you spoke to Josh?
I haven't. He's gone away apparently with his family. When he comes back, we'll have a chat and see where he goes. You know, one of the problems he's had, Josh, is he doesn't fight frequently enough, in my opinion. Anyway, he's certainly had a fight now, and Echo done brilliantly. You know, well-deserved victory in the way he went. You know, the way he went about it, and he'll go on and hope to get a crack at the world title sometime this year.
And lastly, to wrap up, I've got to end on a sad note: the passing of Mike McCallum. I was just in conversation with Wally Downs. We were racking our brains as to whether you promoted him, Frank. Couldn't come up with anything, but was there ever a possibility that you were or did promote Mike in the past?
I'm not sure. I don't think I did, or unless I did, it might have been a joint show I did with Don King, but I'm not sure. But he was a great fighter, you know. Unbelievable, competent, quality boxer. And it's very sad that he's passed away so young. And mine, Queensberry's, and everybody in boxing's condolences to his family and loved ones.
Absolutely, echo that here as well over at Seconds Out. Frank, that's about the end of my questions. I appreciate your time. Looking forward to this weekend's boxing as well too. Thank you for speaking to Second Out. We'll catch you out very soon.
And when I'm done with this shirt, I'll send it on to you. You get it from Tyson to me, then you can send it on to somebody after that.
I'll give it to my dad after your compliment of his shirt. It's a deal.
Cheers, David.
Thank you, Frank.
See you, son. Bye.